Wait till I give my money right.
We need to find ways to communicate.
It's important to ensure that data is trained. What are some of the challenges? Hey everyone! Welcome back to my channel. Today we're diving into a big question that's shaping how we live online. The tension between security and privacy when it comes to cybersecurity. It's a tough one, right? Every time we use the internet, we leave a trail of data, and the measures taken to protect us from hackers often involve accessing that data. So, where do we draw the line? Is security more important than our right to privacy? To get some different perspectives, I've been talking to 10 amazing people from different backgrounds. Exciting, right? Each one has a unique take on this dilemma, and we'll explore their views and see how they connect to different ethical traditions. So, what are you waiting for? Let's watch this. First up, let's hear from Cici Biray, a techie savvy teen who's navigating the online world. Cici, may I know what are your concerns about online safety?
I'm always worried about getting hacked or having my information stolen. But I'm also careful about what I share online. And it's hard what to know what's safe and what's not nowadays.
Cici, may I know how do you feel about the trade-off between security and privacy?
I think it's important to have both. Why? Because I want to be safe online. But I want also to be able to express myself and connect with other people. It's a tricky balance, but I think it's possible to find a way to have both.
Cici perspectives align with moral relativity ethical tradition, as she recognized the importance of individual choice and personal values in determining the balance between security and privacy. Next, let's hear from Asher de Guzman, a casual social media user who's thinking about their online privacy. Asher, may I know what are your concerns regarding the data privacy?
I'm worried about all the data being collected about me, and I see all these ads that seem to know what I'm thinking, and it's creepy. I don't feel like I have much control over my information.
Asher, how do you feel about the trade-off between security and privacy?
I think it's important to have both, and I want to feel safe online, but also want to have control over my own information. It's difficult balance, but I believe that it's possible to have both security and privacy.
Asher's perspective aligns with the moral relativity ethical tradition, as he recognized the importance of individual choice and personal values in determining the balance between security and privacy. Up next, we hear from JD Bauza, a journalist who covers cybersecurity and private issues. JD, may I know how do you see the media's role in the debate over security and privacy?
The media has a crucial role to play in informing the public about these issues and holding those in power accountable. We need also to be vigilant about the potential abuses of powers and ensure that the security measures are not used to suppress dissent or infringe on people's rights.
JD, what are some of the challenges you face in reporting on these complex issues?
One challenge is that technical details of cybersecurity can be difficult to understand for the average person. We need to find ways to communicate these issues clearly and concisely to the public. We also need to be careful not to sensationalize the issues or spread misinformation.
JD's perspective aligns with the deontological ethical tradition. They emphasize the importance of upholding the right to free speech and the freedom of the press. Now, let's hear from Ms. Rain Yap, a technical entrepreneur who is building a new cybersecurity company. Ms. Rain, how do you incorporate ethical considerations into your work?
So it's our priority from the start. We're building a company that is committed to both security and privacy. And then we're building technology that should be used to empower individuals, not to control them. So we're developing solutions that are secure, but also, respect people's rights.
Miss Rain, what are some of the challenges you face in balancing these two priorities?
One challenge is that there's often a trade-off between security and usability. So we need to find solutions that are both secure and easy for people to use. So it's about finding the right balance between functionality and privacy.
Miss Rain's perspectives align with the fairness ethical tradition, as she emphasized the importance of building technology that benefits everyone and it's accessible to all. Next, we hear from Mr. Mervilla, a law enforcement officer who works in cybersecurity investigation. Sir Eric, how do you see the role of law enforcement in balancing security and privacy?
It's a delicate balance. So we need to be able to investigate crimes and protect the public. But we also need to respect people's privacy rights. So we need to ensure that any data collection is done legally and ethically, and that it's only used for legitimate enforcement purposes.
That's a good balance, Sir Eric. What are some of the challenges you face in balancing these competing priorities?
So one challenge is the rapid pace of technological change. So new technologies are constantly emerging, and it can be difficult to keep up with the latest threats and vulnerabilities. So we need to be adaptable and innovative in our approach to cybersecurity.
Eric Mervilla's perspective aligns with the utilitarian ethical tradition, as they prioritize the safety and security of the public, even it means some intrusion on privacy. Now, let's hear from Nicole Vergara, a data scientist who works with large datasets.
My biggest fear is that data collected for security purposes could be used for other purposes, like profiling individuals or targeting certain groups. It's important to ensure that data is used ethically and responsibly, and that individuals have control over their own information.
That's a really important point. Nicole Vergara's perspective aligns with the virtue ethical tradition, where the focus is on doing what's right and honest even if it's challenging. Next up, we have Erica Viador, a digital rights activist who's passionate about online freedom. Miss Erica, I just want to know, what is your biggest concern when it comes to our privacy online?
My biggest concern is the potential for government surveillance to be used to silence dissent and control what people say online. So privacy isn't just about personal information. It's about our ability to express ourselves freely and participate in a democratic society.
So, Miss Erica, I just want to know, how do you see the balance between security and privacy evolving in the future?
I think we need to shift towards a more privacy-centric approach. That means giving individuals more control over their data and make sure security measures are used ethically.
Erica is highlighting the importance of context and cultural values. That's a moral relativity approach, where what's right can depend on the situation and the society. Let's hear from Peterson Reyes, a technology executive who works in the cybersecurity industry. Mr. Peterson, how do you balance security and privacy in your work?
It's a tightrope walk. Businesses needs to protect their data and systems from attacks, but we also have a responsibility to our customers' privacy. It's about finding solutions that are effective but don't violate people's rights. We need to build trust and ensure that everyone is treated fairly.
That's a great point about the trust. Peterson's perspective aligns with the fairness ethical tradition, where the goal is to treat everyone equally and with respect. Next up, we have Jason Guerrero, a privacy advocate who's all about protecting our online freedom. So Jason, what is your biggest fear when it comes to our data privacy?
When it comes to data privacy, my biggest fear is that we're losing our privacy bit by bit. And it feels like we're constantly being tracked and monitored, and our data is being used without our consent. It's not about being tracked, it's about losing our control over our own lives.
What do you think about the tools like encryption and anonymization? Are those the answer?
Well, absolutely. Those tools give us some sort of control. We need also to invest in them and make sure everyone has access to them. It is about empowering individuals to make choices about their own data.
It's interesting how Jason Guerrero is focused on upholding our rights. It's a deontological approach to ethics, focusing on the right thing to do even if it is hard. Lastly, we have Maxwell Season, a cybersecurity expert who works with protecting critical infrastructure like power grids and hospitals. Mr. Maxwell, what keeps you up at night when it comes to cybersecurity?
Honestly, it's the potential for cyber attacks to really mess things up. Imagine a power grid going down or a hospital systems being hacked. It's not just about losing data, it's about real world consequences for people's lives.
Mr. Maxwell, how do you feel about the trade-off between security and privacy? Is it okay to sacrifice some privacy to keep us all safe?
It's a tough call, but I think in this case, security has to be our top priority. We need to be able to protect our critical systems, even if it means some data collections. I'm not saying we should be a big brother, but we need smart about how we keep things safe.
That makes sense. Maxwell's perspective aligns the utilitarian approach where the goal is to do the most good for the most people, even if it means some individual rights might be limited.
I wait till I give my money right. I had a dream I could buy my way to heaven when I